Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, today I'm going to walk through a project that I am working on, which is a Mother's Day gift. And this is going to be an engraving um, project. So I'm going to be engraving on acrylic, which is 2 millimeters thick. Um, and without further ado, let's get started. So here I am inside of Cricut Design Space. And so anytime you're doing any type of engraving, it normally works best if you're working with single layer images. So I'm going to come over to images here on the left. And you can see I've already started my search by looking for mom ideas. But on the layers panel here on the very left, you're going to click on that plus sign and you want to select single. Okay. Once you select single, and start your search by clicking on the magnifying glass, you're going to see here all the different designs that they have that are single layer images. Okay. Now, the one that I like, y'all know I'm extra. So it is this design. Okay. So I'm going to click on that. Now, when you're doing engraving, it's going to look different when you change it to engraving than what you see here. So we're going to click on, we've got our image. We're going to select Add to Canvas. And my acrylic panel is an 8x10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sizing here to make this smaller. So we're going to change this. We're going to click on the lock proportions here one time. And I'm going to change this to a 8. No, I said 8. I'm going to change it to a 7 by 9. Okay, because remember my panel is an 8x10. Okay, so we're going to give it about an inch off of our total sizing. And then we're going to come over, or we're going to go ahead and lock that back. I'm sorry, we're going to click back on that lock one time. That way this is all locked. And then we're going to change our operation from a basic cut and click on that drop down arrow and select Engrave. And this is what our design is going to look like engraved. Okay. Now, remember I said that my panel is 8x10. So we're going to come over to Shapes. We're going to take a square. And we're going to make this square 8x10. So we're going to go back to Lock, click that, and we're going to change our width to 8 and our height to 10. So this is going to be our makeshift acrylic. Okay. And then I'm just going to change this to gray in color. And then we're going to click on our mom image and we're going to say bring to front. And you kind of sit it on top of your acrylic panel. And let me move this over so you guys can see it. And I'm going to decrease it in size here. Not that much, Doris. Okay. There we go. All right, so now we have our acrylic panel and we have our mom. And what you can do is take and highlight them both and then come up to Align in your menu and select Center. And that'll kind of give you your visual of what it's going to look like on your acrylic panel. So you can make it a little bit larger, you can make it a little bit smaller. I kind of like the feel of this, so I'm going to go with that. Okay. Now we're going to click on Make It. and you're going to get two mats. You're going to get a gray mat and you're going to get your mom image. Okay. Now I print and make a lot of large images, so I have my material size automatically default to 12 by 12. I mean 12 by 24. Yours will probably say 12 by 12. So I'm going to go and change both of mine to a 12 by 12 so that we'll have the true visual here. All right. So now we have them both on 12 by 12. We're going to click back on our image. And what we're going to do is we're going to move our mom image over to our gray acrylic panel. Okay. But first, we're going to take our gray acrylic panel and we're going to move it over to the 2 mark. So we're going to start 1 inch down and 2 inches across. Okay. So your acrylic panel is going to be sitting at the 2 and the 10 mark, and it's going to finish up at the 11 and the 10 mark. Okay. So this is the acrylic panel. What we're now going to do, and we're going to make sure that we sit our acrylic panel on our 12 by 12 exactly where we have it here on our imaginary mat. Okay. But we're going to go back to our image and we're going to click on these 3 little dots here and we're going to select move object. And we want to move it over to our gray mat. So we're going to click the gray mat and in the right corner, click confirm. Okay. Now we're going to take and move our mom and we're going to get it as centermost as possible on our acrylic 8 by 10. And I think that looks pretty good. I need to shift that just a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do is we're telling Cricut that we want it to start engraving here. And we're going to place our acrylic panel, our 8 by 10, 2 millimeter thick acrylic. We're going to place it here on our mat just as you see it. We're going to take a little bit of painter's tape and put it around the edges because you do want to make sure that this acrylic panel is secure and will not move because it's going to take a lot of movement with this engraving tool. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is you want to click on the acrylic panel, which is that gray background. Click back on your dots and you're going to say hide selected. And now your gray acrylic panel is gone. The only thing that is left is just your image that we're going to be putting on our acrylic panel. All right. So at this point, you are ready to click on continue in the bottom right corner. And I'm using my Cricut Maker. It is looking for only items that can be, or materials that can be engraved on. So it's giving you craft board you can engrave on, glitter cardstock, anodized aluminum, but we're going to be engraving on acrylic. So I am going to go in search and I'm going to type in acrylic and click on the magnifying glass. And I'm going to select this acrylic thick 2 millimeter. All right, and done. All right, so we're going to leave the pressure on default, and it tells you in step 2 here to load your tools and materials. So if you have a quick swap housing, you're going to swap out the tip that's currently on your quick swap housing, and you're going to add the engraving tool, which is this 41 blade, 41. And notice you cannot edit your tools. This is the only blade that will work for engraving this project, okay? So now it's ready for you to load your mat. So I'm gonna go ahead and end here and I'm gonna come up on the screen. All right, guys, so this is our acrylic panel, okay? I purchased this at Michael's. It's 2 millimeters thick. And on these, I really like and Michael's because it will tell you what projects you can use these materials for. So like on this one, it says engraving only, okay? On this basswood, it tells you that you can do cut or you can do write on here. Okay. So these are very helpful when you purchase these Cricut tools or Cricut items. They will tell you what they're used to or how you can use them. Okay. So you can make sure you have the right thing. Now, this does have a clear coating on the front and the back. So we're going to remove that. And I'm going to take that off. And like I said, I'm going to be using, let me just double check to make sure that's the only coating on here. Sometimes outside of that plastic, you have another piece. So yeah, you have another piece of clear plastic that's going to be on the top. I'm going to leave the one on the back for right now. And when I finish, I'll remove the one from the back. Okay, so you have a piece of this clear on the front and the back. All right, so I'm going to put this like we had it in Cricut Design Space. We're going to put it at that 2 mark and the 1 mark. 1 inch down, 2 inches across. 1 inch down, 2 inches across. And we're going to get that lined up just like it was inside Cricut Design Space. Okay. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put some painter's tape on here to hold it in place. So give me 1 second to get mine down because I'm going to need this flat surface here, and then I will show you what I have. All right, guys, so now I have my painter's tape going all the way around my acrylic to hold it in place. Now, again, with this particular project, you're going to remove your fine point blade from your Cricut Maker because the fine point blade will not work. And let me grab my quick swap housing here. All right, guys, so this is your quick swap housing. I'm going to show you the difference between your quick swap and one that is not. So this knife blade, it actually comes with the housing attached to it. I can't remove that, okay? I can't remove it. But on your quick swap housing, you're going to have a little push button at the top. When you push that, your blade is going to come off, whatever blade is on there. Okay, so this is your quick swap housing, and you're going to know that because it has the little tip on the end. The ones that are not, they're flat. They're gonna be flat. So I want you to see the difference. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that one. This one has like a little push, and this one is flat. This is not quick swap housing. Quick swap means you can quickly swap it out to another blade. So I'm removing blade 1. Y'all see I'm blind. I had to look like that. That's how I used to sit and look at school at the chalkboard. I'm going to tell you guys, or at the blackboard, I'm going to tell you guys a story. When I was a little girl, I wore glasses and I hated them because the kids used to tease me and they used to call me Four Eyes. And so I would leave the house with my glasses on. And then as soon as I would get around the corner, I would take and put my glasses in my purse. So one day, my teacher, she gave me a letter in an envelope to take home to my mother, and it was sealed, so I didn't know what it was. I took it home, and so I gave the letter home to my mom and gave it to her, and the letter told my mom I need glasses. Because I was sitting looking at the blackboard like this. Because I would not wear my glasses anymore. So that's how my mother found out I wasn't wearing my glasses at school. But anyway, so you're going to push down on the push pin, guys, and that's going to allow you, let me get this on here, to be able to put your blade on. So you probably won't be able to see this. That's why I was trying to show it to you in Cricut Design Space. But this is blade 41, guys. Blade 41. And I don't think you'll be able to see it, but this is your engraving. And you're just going to place that back into your enclamp B. We're taking out the fine point blade. So this is the fine point blade that you normally would have inside of your Cricut. This also has a push pin, but this is for the pin for your fine point blade to come out. This is not for you to be able to change blades. Okay, so you can't change blades. Your quick swap housing is the one that I showed you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to load this into our Cricut Maker now that we have our engraving tool. We have that blade in clamp B. There's nothing in clamp A. And then we have painter's tape. You can see this is secure. We have painter's tape going all the way around our acrylic. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in and have Cricut to start engraving it. It's going to take a while. And I'll let you know how long it took. And then I'll come back and we'll look at it together, okay? But before you do this project, guys, make sure you remove that clear plastic film off of the top, okay? Remove that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to load this into my Cricut Maker because Cricut is ready to take it. Oh, and one other thing I want to tell you guys, anytime you're doing engraving, you want to take on your Cricut Maker, you want to take and move your guides all the way over to the far right. Get them out of the way of when your mat loads in and you have those little rolling areas sitting on top of the acrylic. It can score your acrylic. So you want to make sure that you don't have those little rollers. You want to move them all the way over to the side so they're not interacting with your project, okay? So you don't want anything but just the blade housing itself going up and down the mat. But move those guides all the way over, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and the Cricut is ready to receive my project. So I've already loaded my mat and now I have clicked on the C logo and it is it's getting ready to do its thing. So I'm going to put my camera on here so that you guys will have a visual of it and then I'll come back when it's done. All right. All right, guys, so you can see that I have my rollers all the way out of the way so that they're not interacting with my acrylic. And we have our acrylic panel placed exactly where we had it on the imaginary mat with the painter's tape going around the edges. And Cricut is now going in and it is engraving our acrylic for us. So I'm gonna let this run, but I wanted to just give you the visual of the Cricut Maker actually engraving our acrylic panel so that you can see everything is as described in the beginning of the video. All right, so we're gonna let this run and then we'll come back once it's done. All right, guys, we're 6 minutes in. It is at 66% complete. So it's not taking as long as I thought it was going to take. So it's pretty quick even for this, this design. So you can see that it's still going at it here. And you can see the engraving through there. All right, so that is our engraving tool hard at work. All right, guys, I had to cut that light off, but there we have it. I just have it laying on the some black cardstock laying behind it just so you guys could see without my lights on my little thing going out, but it is so pretty. All right, so again, all you're going to need is just the acrylic panel. You're going to need quick swap housing and also the quick tip 41 for this. I'm using my Cricut maker, and then a single layer image. You guys saw that I got this from Cricut Design Space, and then I showed you how you can center it so you can see it centered on that acrylic panel. But it turned out really pretty. So you got time to order one of the lights. Make sure that it will hold an 8x10 and get started on Mother's Day. All right. If you guys have any questions, anything wasn't clear about the video tutorial, then chime in the comments and I will answer any questions that I can to help you. All right. If you're currently in my Facebook group, thank you guys so much for following me via Facebook. If you would like to join my Facebook group, it is Candoris' Cricut and Creative Crafters. It is linked in the description of this tutorial. Just click on the link and agree to the Facebook group rules and we'll get you in. If you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to thank you so much for the love and support that you guys show via YouTube. If you like my method of teaching, I have over 400 video tutorials on my channel. Check my playlist on all types of projects that you can create. So please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, guys, you know my motto, each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye. All right, guys, I don't have the right lighting, but with the right lighting, you get the gist of what that will look like. So pretty. I wish I had had ordered one from Amazon, but anyway, there it is, guys. Super pretty. So